Sorry for the break. So yeah, we were discussing Piccaninnies, which would be standing here if we recruit them, and they have range 2 attacks, so they have a larger attack range, and they can attack from the second row if there's someone standing here. So they might be a good alternative because if you see, Longbowmen deal 1 to 4 damage and have 5 hit points. Oh, they have 1 armor. I didn't know that Longbowmen have 1 armor and Crossbowmen don't have armor. So Longbowmen are a bit more resistant. Okay, that's in favor of Longbowmen. Yeah, but these Piccaninnies, they have 1 hit point more. Fortunately also armor. And they deal actually more damage than the Longbowmen, although they have the same initiative. So maybe they are an option. Now we have to consider further. We have here halberdiers, which are of course melee units, Zweihanders, which are also melee units. They deal just 1 point more damage than halberdiers, but we said we have enough melee units. Now we have these cavalrymen, also melee war dogs. For ballista and so on, we don't have enough iron. Now there are tower guards. As you see, they are armed with a crossbow, just like normal crossbowmen. They deal the same damage, but they have the advantage of 7 hit points and 1 armor. They have a better moral. You see, moral 5. Instead of usually units have moral 4, strength 4, and magic resistance 4. So this is the average value. Actually, no, there's no tooltip, but yeah. And they also have 1 armor. And they have a small shield. So they are a bit more resistant than crossbowmen or longbowmen and have the same ranged firepower as crossbowmen, but they have a broadsword. So these guys are actually quite capable in melee. And actually in this description you see for which they are used best. And this is but when the serpents and spiders climb up the wall, they are almost useless. This is for longbowmen. Of course, they are right in this description. If our longbowmen get into melee, they just deal 1 to 3 damage, so they are quite bad. And tower guards are quite useful. Now, because they are still very good in melee. So these units are special of the Baron, just like the longbowmen, and these units are special because there are not only very few units which are actually good at ranged combat and in close combat. But their disadvantage is that they cost 15 iron. So now these guys I want to highlight, they would be actually the absolute best units, probably except for maybe ballistas, to fill up these squares, because they can fire all the time down with their crossbow. And even if some units gets up or behind, they still have their armor, they have their shield, and they have their broadsword to fight. So they will probably offer even a better resistance than longbowmen up here. So actually they are true to the name, they are tower guards. They are very useful to put in defensive positions, in fortified defensive positions. So if you have a baron and have some fortified position and you want to place units there, then tower guards might be really among the best options. So we have to decide. We have enough iron to pay for, so let me think. We have many melee units, but actually I think I'll use Piccaninnies because, yeah, they are quite nice, deal some nice damage. And yeah, let's try them, Piccaninnies. So we bought them. You see, this check means that we already bought here. Recruitment in Baron's Castle is completed for this turn. We can only recruit one of these standard recruitments. We could still recruit any commander. They show up green, and I think if the text is green, then you can recruit it anywhere and it does not finish recruiting. But you have to try. I think there are also some special units you can recruit which also stop further recruiting for this turn. But currently this further recruiting is irrelevant for us because we already ran out of money, except of course for war dogs, which are not that good. But yeah, so let's see, transfer units. You see they now stand here and they will assist in fighting because they can just attack anyone which the spearman can attack. They will not stay behind these guys because these are battle fast, while our Piccaninnies just move normally 1 square per round. So now we could wait 2 additional turns again for something like 60 gold and recruit something further, but I think I want to retake the ancient forest fast and then maybe try to get here, because I think our Piccaninnies can also attack up here because it's just 2 squares. But I think we might now be strong enough to take that thing, and if we manage to do it before next summer, it's quite good, because it might even offer more recruitments as the market village, which gave us 1 knight and 2 spearmen. Sorry, I don't mean recruitments, I mean conscriptions, which are special for the Baron and are just happen every year in early summer. So now we move downward to this ancient forest, which, let me think, it doesn't matter whether we move here and then here, because there we have just normal movement cost. Here we have 3 and here we have 2 and then go to 2. So this is 4 plus snow costs and this is 4 plus snow, so it does not matter. But let's take it doesn't matter. Let's go there. Now, we just checked that 8 swordsmen are probably too much. Now, what do we have here? Here again is a guard tower. You know this now. It's just for recruitment and some fortification, and we can see the surrounding area, but again, far too strong. Now, here is a magic library. I think I called it magic school. You know, that was once my humiliation, where an invisible wizard was and killed 100 units of mine. So this is not good. You might say, oh, they have only 1 crossbowman, but here they have a pyromancer, pyromancy level 3. Oh, this is very dangerous. This might be spells that can deal up to 100 units damage. So this guy might be able to cast every round some spell which has some burst radius this large and deals every unit 1 to 7 damage per spell cast, which is of course very dangerous. He has some magic items. Star Ruby, of course. Now these guys are always created random with sometimes they have magic items and sometimes have not, and here the random draw of magic item was very powerful, because normally these guys only are pyromancy level 2, and now he has a Star Ruby which boosts his pyromancy, and then he's very powerful. And he also has a Wand of Fire. Can be used to cast Flame Burst. Actually, that would be nice if he would cast Flame Burst instead of his level 3 spells, but you cannot hope for that. And then we have here an Alchemist. He only has level 1 spells. I think the level 1 Alchemist spells are not so dangerous. And here we have a Sorceress, Silver Arcana. You don't see what spells they have, and you would have to know from experience. And I don't remember whether Silver Arcana are dangerous, but Firebrand Sword, you see, this does magic damage. This is important. If an attack here has magic damage, this can be sometimes important for overcoming damage resistances or damage immunities. And this sword is interesting because you see the area of effect of its initial attack is burst radius 1, but then it has an extra effect with burst radius 3. So with this melee attack, if this is used in melee, the unit hits first an enemy unit, and then 3 squares get a fire attack. What is also useful with this is that you get fire resistance, I think, which of course would be good, because otherwise this burst 3 might damage you yourself. So now this guy with pyromancy level 3 absolutely excludes any attack except with a large army. Actually, before I would attack there, I might consider going in with a single commander and really waste the single commander just to see what spells he has, so I can prepare and decide on unit setup and so on. Maybe the best idea to attack here would be several siege weapons which kill these guys, because these dangerous spells only start at round 0. And you know, in siege combat, some firing happens, and if I bring enough siege weapons like ballistas, catapults, and trebuchets, they might kill off this guy before he can cast some dangerous spell because he has only 5 hit points. So I think maybe if I take this, I would at least have 4 ballistas or so I can hope that these guys, these dangerous casters, especially this one, gets killed before any real action happens. Otherwise, it's really dangerous. Now, as you see here, this magic library in the tooltip down at the bottom gets 1 gold, has some fortification, gets siege combat, and has 2 books. These books mean that wizards can learn additional spells here, and that you get a chance to get commander recruitments, just wizard like this one, for example, pyromancers and so on. And also you can upgrade units which just have level 1 spells to level 2. So for example, if we had an alchemist and would control this place, we could go with the alchemist there, spend for some gold to learn additional level 1 spell, or spend something like, I think, 150 gold for upgrading him to level 2 and better spells. So this is very useful but dangerous to attack at the moment. Let's see, 14, yeah, what I said, dangerous, strong armies. These 14 dwarfs with a ballista, you see he fires a giant arrow only every 4 rounds, but with 1 to 22 damage it's rather likely to kill one of us cavalrymen, and these would completely overwhelm us. And as you see, they stand just in the mountains, so they are wandering units. But fortunately we have 1 action point left, and we move here, and hopefully now they don't get us, and next turn we will move elsewhere. But we have to remember, oh, here up there is somewhere the manticore, so we have to be a bit careful if we move upwards. Always make sure we have 1 movement point left to move away if the manticore is there, because we will also kill these units. Now I think we have done everything, and turn 1 captain for 49 gold, and winter is here. Winter means reduced income because the snow gets further south.